Okay, so now let's continue with lesson 1. And now we are going to learn the text of lesson 1. Okay, the text of lesson 1. So we'll read the text together. So let's see the textbook. So part 2, text. So in fact, the text of lesson 1 is rather simple, right? You can see text 1. Okay, text 1. So here we got the text. There are two persons here in the text. The first person named Ma Ding. We can see Ma Ding, right? So there's a proper names here. Ma Ding. So Martin, name of American student. Okay. And the second person named Lin Na. Lina, name of French student. Okay. So there are two persons. They are having a dialogue or conversation. And it's rather simple. So we can see Ma Ding said, 你好, 你好. And Lina said, 你好. Okay, 你好. So what's the meaning of 你好? I think maybe by now everybody knows it, right? 你好, because this one is really the most basic or maybe most common used in daily life when people meet each other and make greetings, right? So 你好 just means hello, hi, right? So every language, all language has its own like greeting sayings, right? It's very common used in language. So in Chinese language, the most common used greeting is 你好, which means hi, hello, right? Okay, so let's read together again. First, let's read the new words, okay? The first one, we have learned the initial n, finals e, and under the third tone, 你. Okay, let's read again. 你, which means you. It's like singular, okay? If only one person, so we use 你 means you. And this you is singular. It's only for one person. We know in English, you can be maybe many persons, right? Not just one person. You can be like multiple, not just single, right? But in Chinese, 你 is a singular. It's only one person. If we want to say multiple people, we will learn other words, not just 你, okay? And 好. Initials he, finals all, and under the third tone, 好 means good, fine, nice. Okay, so 你好, 你好 literally means you good. Okay, so now we know what's the meaning of 你好. Literally means like you good. You good. So it's a little bit like how do you do? It's a little bit like in this way in meaning, but actually 你好 just like a greeting, like hi, hello. Okay, and proper name, let's read it again. Martin, 马丁 and 琳娜 and let's read the text again. 你好 and they just make greetings to each other. Hi, hello, hi. Okay, 你好. So this one is really the most common used one. Okay, next one. 课文2 text 2. Okay, 课文2 text 2. So first, let's quickly go through the new words and expressions. There's only one new word. Let's read together. Let's try to spell together. So the initials is n, right? N, and finals is in, and read under the second tone. So how to spell it? Try to spell it by yourself, okay? Right, it's 您. Okay, so 您 also means you. It's a singular you, right? But it's a polite way to say 你. Okay, so which means it's a polite way to say you in Chinese. Okay, 你 is common used. 你 okay, but 您 is a polite form of 你, right? Okay, 您 is a polite form of 你. Okay, so it sounds more polite. Okay, and here we got proper names. Proper names. The first one, let's read together. 李一鸣. Li Yimin. Okay, we know name of a Chinese teacher. Okay, name of a Chinese teacher. And the second one, A Ming. A Ming. So name of a Thai student. Okay, A Ming is the name of Thai student. Okay, let's move to the conversation between Li Yimin and A Ming. So clearly that Li Yimin, maybe he is the teacher. He's a teacher of this Thai student. Okay, so let's see their conversation. Okay, so Li Yimin says, 你好, and A Ming responds, 您好. Okay, so you can see A Ming use a different form to say you, right? He uses 您, 您好. And Li Yimin says 你好. Okay, so the meaning is hello, hi. And A Ming responds, hello, hi, but in a polite way because A Ming uses the address of 您 by saying you. Okay, so there is 2 notes about text 1 and text 2. Let's go through it. So the first note, okay, name of Chinese people. Okay, so there's like a little bit kind of a small knowledge about like Chinese social and culture. Okay, so name of Chinese people. So in text 2, we have a person's name of a Chinese teacher, whose name is Li Yimin, right? Li Yimin. So let's see what this name consists of. Okay, and what's its order. Okay, so let's get the like a kind of common sense or knowledge of Chinese people. So Li Yimin, in his name, Li is the surname. Okay, it's the surname. In Chinese, we say 姓. So this is the surname. And Yimin is the given name. Okay, always say second name, given name. And the order, okay, the order of the full name is the surname comes first. Okay, the surname comes first and then followed by the given name. So like this Chinese teacher's name, Li Yimin. So his surname, 姓 surname is Li, and then given name, Ming. His given name Ming is Yimin. So his full name is Li Yimin. So now we know the name of Chinese people. How does it consist of, right? So first is the surname. For Chinese people's name, the first is the surname, and then followed by the given name, like Li Yimin. So do you know my name? What is my name? Okay, my name is Li Yimin, right? Li Yimin. So my surname is same with this Chinese teacher, Li. Okay, my surname is also Li, and my given name is Yimin. So third tone, second tone, and second tone, Li Yimin. Okay, and this Chinese teacher's name is third tone, first tone, and second tone, Li Yimin. Okay. And maybe some students will ask, what is this syllable? We haven't seen this one anywhere, right? Because it consists of a Y. It's a Y. What is a Y? We don't know it yet. So let's make a smaller note on this pinyin syllable, okay? So here is about the spelling rules of pinyin. Because pinyin, we say literally means like the spelling of sounds. It's pinyin. It's like kind of combination. So it has some special rules to how to spell pinyin, right? So here we see the initial part it's a Y. It's a letter Y in capital. It's a Y. But we haven't learned what does this Y mean, right? We haven't learned this kind of initial. So here's the question. Let's learn the first spelling rule of this one. So spelling means the spelling of sounds. It's like initials plus finals, and then makes a pinyin, right? So initials plus finals, and of course here we should add a tone, right? But we haven't read it now here. So initials plus finals, and then they makes a combination, which means a pinyin. So for example, like initials n, finals e, right? Initials n and finals e, and they spell together and make the combination, which is a pinyin ni, right? Ni. Of course, there should be a tone, but like we want to make it simple, so we haven't added a tone here, okay? But you know, sometimes this is very important. This is very important. Sometimes there's no initials in the pinyin syllable. So do you got it? Sometimes there's no initials. There's no initials in a pinyin syllable. So we have this kind of case. Not very common, but we have this kind of case. There's only a final. There's only a final in a pinyin syllable. Okay? So in this case, for example, if there's a non-initial, we use this kind of mark, okay? We written in the red color, okay? So this mark means non-initial in the pinyin syllable. There's only final. So for example, if there's a non-initial, no initials, plus a final e, okay, plus a final e, and in writing way, okay, so according to the spelling rules, we add a letter Y in this case, okay? So if there's no initial plus final E, actually which means in this pinyin syllable, there's only a final E, and in this way, in writing items, so according to the spelling rules, we add a letter Y, right? Letter Y. And in written forms, it comes in this way. So a letter Y plus a I, okay? But this means there's no initial. This Y is just a writing form, okay? It's just a writing mark. It's meaningless. It's soundless. Y actually is not a real initial. It's just a writing mark. It's a writing form, okay? So when you see a Y and I, you know, oh, there's only a final I, a final E, okay? Final E. So how to read this? It's E, right? It's just the E. So like this person's name, his name is Li Yi-min. So this one we know, oh, in this pinyin syllable, there's a non-initial and there's only a final E. So we just read E, Li Yi-min. Okay, so let's remember these spelling rules. And in further lessons, we are going to learn more spelling rules about this, okay? So in lesson 1, we learn only one special spelling rules. Non-initial plus final E in writing form, okay? In written form, we add a letter Y. Okay, so it's written in this way, okay? And the second note, greetings, right? Because both the two texts, they are like make greetings to each other, right? And now we know 你好, we have two forms of greetings, 你好 and 您好, right? 你好 and 您好. And we know the most basic and common used item for greetings is 你好. 你好, this is written in Chinese characters, okay? So the most basic and common used greeting item is 你好, 你好, okay? And we learned another way to say you. It's a more polite way, and we say 您好, 您好, and we know 您 is the polite form of 你, okay? 您 is the polite form of 你. And they have different kind of conditions in using, okay? So in usage, they have different kind of context or using conditions. So for 你好, it's very common used. We can use the 你好 between friends, classmates, acquaintance, someone we know well, okay? Friends, classmate, and your acquaintance, which means someone you know well, you know for a long time, okay, etc. So this is a 你好, okay? So when you see your classmate, your friend, you can say, oh, 你好, 你好. This is very natural, very natural, very common use, okay? But 您好, when we use 您好 to greet a person, this person should be maybe a senior, okay? A senior, maybe your professor, people of higher rank, okay? Does it make sense? People of higher rank, maybe your boss, okay? Maybe in the working group, the officer, or maybe the leader. Their ranking, their social rankings is higher than us, okay? So you can call him 您好, or maybe in business conditions, in business circumstances, okay? In business, so we want to make it really serious, so we use 您, and also we use it to stress strangers. So people meet at the first time, we want to be polite to each other, so we use 您好. So in these conditions, in this context, we can use 您好, okay? But remember, when you meet your friend, when you meet someone, your acquaintance, you know this person for a long time, you don't use 您好. It could be sounds really strange. We use 您好to your friend, okay? So remember how to use 你好 and 您好. They have different using conditions and context. So these are the two notes of the text. Okay, and now let's go back to the text. So the last one is rather simple. The last one is some numbers. Okay, just numbers. So let's read together. First one, 0. 0 is 零. Okay, 零. And 1. 一. How to read 2? That when we learn Pinyin, when we learn finals, we learn this Pinyin, right? So it's read 二. And 5. 五. Okay, 8. 八. Okay, so let's read again. 零. 一. 二. 五. 八. Okay, and here, you see a very interesting picture because we have different gestures, okay? Gestures for different numbers. So in Chinese culture, okay, we have this kind of hand gestures, okay? It's kind of body language, right? It's kind of body language. We use our single hand, just one hand, to show different numbers. You can learn to use this to show different numbers. Maybe this kind of way of gestures is different from your mother language, or maybe from your culture, right? So it could be interesting. Okay, so finally, let's give you a homework, because as I said, in each week, usually on Wednesdays, I will give you a homework which you need to submit to me and which you get scores for this homework. Okay. Usually on Mondays, we have a self-check homework. It's kind of practice. You practice by yourself and you check by yourself. You don't have to submit it. Okay. So on Wednesdays, this homework you need to submit to me. Okay. So let's give you this homework. Okay, so the homework for lesson 1, okay, is a reading homework. Okay, it's like a spoken homework, spoken. So read the following Pinyin syllables. Pay attention to the tones. So there's a reference. Actually, these Pinyin syllables are written on a textbook. So textbook page 2, number 3, okay? And if you already got a digital copy of textbook, you can hear the recordings first, and then practice by yourself, and then you read it and submit to me, okay? You should submit to me through Chaoxing system. Okay, this is the mark, Chaoxing system. So Chaoxing system, when you submit spoken homework, I mean recordings, you should click there's a mark of a small microphone. Okay, you mark that mark, and then your voices will be recorded, and you send it to me. Okay, so by the date required, you will know the deadline through the Chaoxing system. Okay, okay, so this is the class for today. Let's meet on next week.